Okay, this should be a quick and easy video. It's just about asking for and giving ages of yourself and other people. Now this will of course require some knowledge of numbers. That's part of the reason why we covered numbers 0 through 30 earlier in the week, so that you'll have a better idea of how to kind of approach this. But as far as asking for somebody's age, if you want to ask about somebody else, such as another boy in the class, you would ask il a quel âge. Please notice that they've got both il or el here. You need to pick one or the other. Instead of making you write two separate sentences, I figured you could handle knowing that you can switch between il or el. So il a quel âge is how old is he. Go ahead and try and say it. Il a quel âge. Now if you switch that he to a she, all of a sudden you got how old is she, which is elle a quel âge. And then if you remember your subject pronouns, you'll remember that tu right here means you. So whenever you want to ask you have what age, as in literally how old are you, you say tu as quel âge. Now, of course, you also need to know how to answer these questions. So the first thing that you need to know is if they ask about another boy or another girl and you want to say he or she is a certain number of years old. Again, realize that there are two phrases here. It's either il a and then the number and then as for however many years old he is, or elle a and then whatever the number is and the year as for however old she is. So the reason why there's a dot 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 here is because you do have to make sure that you fill in a number. So just to give you an example, let's use the age of 15. So if you wanted to say he is 15 years old, you would say il a 15 ans. And if you wanted to say she has 15 years, as in she is 15 years old, you would say elle a 15 ans. And just to stick with the pattern, if you want to say I am 15 years old, again, if you'll notice on this phrase there's a dot 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 so that you can fill in an actual number, you would say j'ai 15 ans. Now be careful, j'ai technically means I have. In French, they don't talk about being a certain number of years old, they talk about having a certain number of years. So it's one of those things where it doesn't translate word for word. Not a big deal, but just to make you aware so that when you do start using the phrase j'ai for I have later on in the year, you're not getting yourself confused. So real quick, this is not technically on your notes page, but I wanted to give you a quick example of how this could work. I have a daughter named Hannah. If somebody wanted to know how old Hannah was, they could either say elle a quel âge, or they could actually fill in her name and say Hannah a quel âge. And when I would answer that question, because Hannah's 11, I would say elle a 11 ans, or Hannah a 11 ans, to say that Hannah is 11 years old. One other thing that I wanted you to write on your notes page was a quick recap of those numbers. These are the most typical ages of my students, so go ahead and jot these down one more time so you've got everything in one spot to use it. If you are 13 years old, you are 13 ans. If you are 14 years old, you are 14 ans. If you are 15 years old, you are 15 ans. If you are 16 years old, you are 16 ans. If you are 17 years old, you are 17 ans. And if you are 18 years old, you are 18 ans. Again, if you need to pause the video because I went a little quick there, by all means, but I wanted to go ahead and recap those there for you just real quick. Alright, so for your sample questions, I hope you paused it, sorry it's already revealed. If you have to answer the question tu as quel âge, remember from the notes, tu as quel âge asks you have what age, as in how old are you? So when you go to answer to say how old you are in French, you'll say this sentence right here. J'ai, whatever your age happens to be. Here I use 16 as an example, not that I personally am 16. J'ai 16 ans is I have 16 years, as in I am 16 years old. The second question here was one that I was hoping to fool you on, but I went ahead and revealed it too soon. Madame D à quel âge? I'm asking you, Ms. D is how old? If you did ahead and took a guess and you guessed too old, well then shame on you, and if you guessed too young, A+ for you. But the real answer to this one would be elle a, and then in this case, if you want to be accurate, 30 ans. So go ahead and take a moment and fill those in, kind of think about whether you'll be ready for that video quiz or if you have any questions that you want to jot down, and we can cover them next class.